So we're in 2021 and you want to purchase a home in a really hot real estate market. How do you do it? Coming right up on MoneySenseMedia. Hey everyone, this is Miles from MoneySenseMedia, and on this channel we talk about tips and tricks for your financial health. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this content. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing by clicking on the bell notification, smashing the like button, and more importantly, sharing the video with a friend. So before going any further, you might ask yourself why I'm recording this video in my kitchen, and the answer is quite simple. It's beautiful out there, tons of sun, and all of the normal places I would normally record, I'm having challenges figuring out the lighting. And so here it's dark enough for me to shoot and have little interruptions, and so voila, here's why I'm in my kitchen. In today's segment, we're talking about how to purchase real estate in a very hot market. Now, I have another video stating why you should not buy homes or a home in a hot real estate market. However, if you are in a situation or in a predicament where you absolutely need to purchase, then you want to get creative in a market that's extremely hot. So I'll start off by giving you a bit of an example. I purchased my first townhome in 2008. My wife and I were getting married, and so we bought this nice little 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom townhome in a city not too far from where I live here in Canada. And we paid it $235,000 with an extra $15,000 lot premium because it was an end unit. And so our total cost was $250,000, and that's in 2008. Now, we sold this home in 2012 or 2013 for $315,000. And so, real estate agents will tell you that if you purchase a home, the standard or regular appreciation of the value of a home should be anywhere between 2 and 5% per year. So homes have a tendency of keeping up well with inflation, and in certain cases outpacing inflation in terms of their overall value. So we purchased this home in 2008 for $250,000 and sold it 5 years later for $315,000, which is a pretty good deal, if you will, in terms of the appreciation of the home. Today we're in 2021, and that same home is selling for $700,000. Yes, $700,000 is the price for a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom townhome in Ottawa, and that's pretty much anywhere in the city. You could be half an hour, 45 minutes from downtown, and that's the price you're going to pay for a townhome. This same townhome is being built by a number of builders in my city, and the price to purchase this townhome is $725,000 plus a $30,000 lot premium for the same kind of a townhome. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, about 1,900 square foot between the 2 floors, essentially. So this is a market that's not hot. It's hyperventilating for all intents and purposes. And so it's really important to understand that in this context, buying a home is a lot more difficult for a number of reasons. The first being the fact that the price is so high. The other challenge is the mere concept of supply and demand. There's very little inventory and there's a lot of pent-up demand. So people are prepared to pay more than the asking price to purchase a home. In the last 12 months, everybody I know who's purchased a home has paid more than the asking price, and it's always a multiple bid situation. Unfortunately, this is a phenomenon that's been also exacerbated by the pandemic. So before talking about the ways that you can actually purchase a home in this particular context, I want to put a bit of a shout out there to our real estate agents. Now, for those of you that know me, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with real estate agents. Some of them are good, but a lot more of them are just not competent in my view. So the truth of the matter is, however, that in the context of a hyperventilating market like this, real estate agents actually suffer because a lot of times the agent that sells the home to this one client has another 10 to 15 clients that want a home and can't get one. So, I use the Pareto's principle, 80-20. I believe that 20% of the real estate agents out there are fantastic, they're competent, and you've got another 80% that unfortunately don't know what they're doing, and they're doing it part-time and hoping for the best. In a hot market, anybody can sell a home. It's in a market that's actually normal or negative that you see the really good real estate agents. And so I'll shoot a separate video on how you should choose the agent that should represent you to actually buy or sell a home, but that's a different topic altogether. So the first element you want to consider if you're going to buy a home in 2021 is really expanding your geographical area. Even though the pandemic has changed this somewhat, there's still a big correlation between how close a house is from the downtown of a city and how much you're prepared to pay for it. So if you're open to moving to an area that's a bit further out, you are going to save some money. And in some instances, it could be a significant amount of money that you're saving. So moving further out will give you a better chance of actually buying your first home or an investment property if that's what you're looking for. The second element you want to consider is considering purchasing a home that needs some work. Now, this is one where you have to be very, very, very careful because a fixer-upper is a great deal until you actually need to do the work to fix it up. So if you are extremely handy and you could take care of things yourself, then yes, consider purchasing a fixer-upper and make sure that you have the time to work on it one room at a time in your spare time, or you're going to take some time off work in order to actually do that. But if you're going to get contractors to come in and do the work for you, you really have to be careful with that because in a hot market, contractors also cost more money. And the reason is quite simple, is because they're actually out there building other homes and renovating a ton of other homes for people that can't buy a home anymore and have decided to make investment in their existing property. So again, if you're going to purchase a fixer-upper, it could be a great way for you to get into a really hot housing market, but you really have to measure the costs that are associated with fixing the home that you're going to purchase. The next element you might want to consider is to purchase a different asset class. So you could buy a single family home, but that could look like a number of different things. It could be a townhome, it could be a standalone home, or it could actually be a condo. I know a lot of people that want to buy a single family home, but they can't because it's just too pricey. So what they're doing is that they're purchasing something a bit smaller like a condo. And that allows them to get into the market. And if that value also increases over time, that gives them an opportunity to save up and have some equity into the condo that they can convert into a different home afterwards. Now, again, condos, there are a number of things that you need to be mindful of because when it comes time to sell the condo, you want to be in a position where you can actually sell it. So where you buy, how you buy is extremely important, and all of these factors have to be taken into account. And I'll shoot a separate video on things to watch out for when you're purchasing a condo unit. Now, the other element that can actually help you if you're thinking of purchasing a home this year is to consider a multi-generational home. So this is one where you actually purchase a home with your parents or your in-laws. There are a number of families that are now considering doing this because the value of homes is just so high. And so doing that has a number of advantages in terms of splitting the cost for the home, splitting the cost of maintenance for the home as well, and allowing a larger family to move together in a family bubble or in a family unit. Now, obviously, you can't do this with every family member. You need to have certain dynamics, good dynamics, in order for that to work. I actually live with my in-laws and it's working fantastic. But again, you need to have a good relationship with your family members in order to pull something like that off. And again, money could be a bit of a situation depending on, your history, your cultural background, and how you've dealt with money in the past. So you want to take all of these elements into consideration. Now, the other way to purchase a home is also to focus on an income property. Now, that's the one that I find is the most interesting and the most exciting. So if you're going to purchase a home, instead of buying a single family home, a standalone home, you may want to consider an income property like a duplex or a triplex, and you would live in one of those units. So the advantage of doing that is that when you live in one of the units, you can put a bit of a smaller down payment, and you have one or two tenants that are actually helping you with rent. So doing that allows you to get into the housing market. You also get some support in order to pay your monthly mortgage, and hopefully if you do this right, you're able to sell this property in a few years, make a bit of money in order to purchase your next home. So that might be my favorite way of getting into a home this year, simply purchasing an income property where I could go and live in one of the units in order to help reduce my payments and actually get into the housing market. So the last strategy I'm going to share with you here is one that you have to be very careful with. I'm not big on purchasing brand new homes. I think there's always going to be more value in you purchasing a home that's 5 or 10 years old than actually going and purchasing a brand new home. When you're buying a new home, you're paying market rates for per square footage, and I think that you're always going to be at a disadvantage because you also have to pay for landscaping, the fence that needs to go in, the AC you need to put in, and all those ancillary costs that are associated to purchasing a home. However, if you're in a market that is extremely tight, what you might want to consider is buying a brand new home that's going to be delivered in 12 months or in 18 months from now. So doing that has a number of advantages. Number one, it allows you to put a small deposit right away in order to secure a lot and a unit in 12 or 18 months from now. Number two, it shelters you from the variability in the price of houses, and you don't need to compete and go into a bunch of predatory practices in order to actually purchase a home. So you agree that you're going to pay your home for $500,000, $600,000, or $700,000, and you're going to take delivery of that home in a year from now, as an example. Now, at the end of the day, you are still going to pay more money because it's always cheaper to buy an older home than to purchase a new home. However, doing that does give you a bit of certainty and allows you to work for the next 12 to 18 months to make sure that you have that down payment in order to move into your home. So if you absolutely must purchase a home this year, you may want to consider this option. I will say this, however, I am seeing in this market builders being a lot more creative and trying to get every single dollar out of you and me when it comes to purchasing a home that you're going to take possession of next year. So builders have hijacked or have jacked their prices to a level that's just crazy, and they're also asking for you to have proof of funds, proof of financing, and a larger deposit when you're actually securing the lot. And of course, they're doing that because they want money, and there's a lot more demand for units, and so they're using that as an opportunity to cash in. And so hopefully the tips that I've shared with you today give you an idea of how to get into the housing market in 2021 if you are really sure that this is what you want to do right now. Again, I'm a big believer that now is not the time to buy a home, and I'll shoot a separate video on why you shouldn't buy a home in 2021. Thanks again for joining, and I'll catch you on the next one.